Without reading all that, I'll make the motion.
That's that one out there on the highway that used to be,
Let's look up Stately.
yeah, where does that look? Used to be where,
Overtime.
Rock and Robin.
Used to be
Yeah.
Rock and Roll.
That's what they call it. Rockin' Robins. It's a good,
McCook State Bank's what they go by, but it's Henderson's.
yeah. It's a satellite of basically Henderson.
And the county banks.
I don't know why they know like the Bartley's not on the list.
No, again, I'll go back to what we discussed last year.
Yeah.
They reached out and requested to be a depository. That's not saying that I use them. State Bank of Bartley has
I
never
know
reached
that.
out. Okay,
I know
okay.
that. I know that.
Okay. So yes, that's put it on the list.
I just
Okay.
don't know why.
I
Same
don't know
with
that
the
we
Premier
use them,
Bank.
we just, it's a possibility to use them.
Yeah, they've requested, so we put them on the list. It's not saying that I will use them, just like the Premier Bank of Omaha. I,
I'll give you my account number.
no.
There's some monies in there in the
Is
coffers.
there any money in it?
No, well, deposit.
All
I
right.
don't use Union Bank either, but they request it, so they're just on there.
I will make a motion to adopt resolution 1586, book 24, page 93, designating banks as depositories for Willow County.
I'll second it.
I got a motion from Dean and a second from Fritchie to adopt resolution 1586, book 24, page 93, designating banks as depositories for Red Willow County. If there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Okay.
I have to sign that one now. Okay. All right.
Okay, this next issue is brought about because of my mistake. I could have sworn that the recommended salaries were for when we were supposed to end up at 2020, 2030, but they're where we were supposed to start out at in 2027. So clerks were emailing around the resolutions of how much their officials are going to be making the next term. And a lot of them did go with NACO's recommendation. Some went higher, some went a little lower. But even counties smaller than us are between 72 and 75 as a start. NACO recommended that we start 2027 at 73,380. That's a big jump, but these ladies are here to contribute. They felt badly that they weren't in on the original discussion, so take it away.
Yeah, and this is just the 945 to revisit the official salaries for 27 to 2030. In a previous meeting, we voted to do 2.5% over the next, each year for the next 4.
My name's Colin Cash. I'm one of the owners of Built Right Homes. Built Right Homes has been in business for over a decade. We do 300 to 400 full roofing, siding, gutters, window projects every single year. We've worked on over 2,500 homes in the last 10 years, from neighborhoods after Hurricane Katrina to you name it. We want to get people's homes not just back in shape, but in better condition than they were so they can get back to living their lives. We have a very high standard for quality that we're going for, and we don't want to offer any product that we can't just knock the socks off of our customers, right? We absolutely want to exceed everybody's expectations, and so we only use the absolute best materials that you can get. The best shingles, the best siding, gutters. We want our products to stand the test of time. I would put my company against any other company out there.
4 years for that term. NACO had a study out on official salaries and what their recommendation was. And I think, okay, you guys, we apologize you weren't included. I don't know, it was on the agenda last go, and then, but anyway,
It was
so.
kind of just that there wasn't discussion really, so.
Right,
Like Lori had come in after it was said and done, but it was like just a 30-second thing kind of
yeah,
deal and it was done. And so then she's like, oh, it's done already.
no,
I had
but,
been out of town, and I didn't do that on the agenda, so I came back from vacation.
okay, well, I mean, if you guys have any input on was NACO's, I think NACO's was anywhere from 19 to 28%, wasn't it, over the next 4 years?
Cumulative.
Cumulative, right.
And
so
they were specific, the recommendations were specific to county, going by valuation and size and.
Yeah, that study is based on
CPIU and
that.
SLCE.
Do you guys want to come up so the recorder can hear you?
2.5% 4 years.
Compounded though, so whatever compounded.
Well, yeah, but 2.5, like you said, that's what they're looking at too, is a 19 to 28 over 4 years. We initially voted to do a 10% over 4 years. So this is Chase County, Dakota County. This is Madison. Madison County and Thayer County.
And Knuckles.
And where's your proposed sheet that you guys had together?
So the recommendation by
These other counties.
NACO would be about a 12% increase from where we would end the 26 term to the beginning of the 27 term. I guess we probably kind of want to just hear what maybe you guys' thoughts are before we introduce a proposal.
Well,
We understand obviously 12% is quite an increase, but
and I guess I guess I'll go first. So the reason that and again, I'm not, I don't want any of the elected officials to feel like they're not appreciated or that their positions, I don't really truly know where our budget sits, and if we're always really close, budgetarily wise, we're really close every year, and we've been using, we allocate from the inheritance fund. This year we've had it as high as 800,000. This year was 300 and some thousand. The budget time is pretty uncertain. We never know each year what we're going to be allowed. And the thing that I don't understand, I guess, is that I know that's not county, but the state of Nebraska is a $400 and some million shortfall, and every state agency across the state of Nebraska is making very large cuts to their budgets. And so that should be or end up feeling like a trickle-down effect. I even if we don't maybe see it here quite yet, I think that in time that could possibly affect us. Where we have that budget shortfall. Moreover, the only thing that, and I don't know, does NACO do any study on things like premiums for health insurance or anything like that. I mean, I don't know what these other counties have as far as their premiums, what they pay in for their health insurance. We have gone unchanged for a long, long time. Our health insurance is very affordable, which is a benefit, being an employee for the county. Some of these, and I'm not talking about some of these. I'm looking at it from a law enforcement perspective, and I'm just saying that's just one thing that stands out. I look at some of these sheriffs and what they're looking to make, and that's high. I mean, that's high for law enforcement. I mean, there's a lot of troopers across the state of Nebraska that don't even make what some of these sheriffs. Now, I'm not saying that they don't. Some counties, and there again, there's a breakdown. Some counties, depending on size and deputies and jails and so on and so forth, like one county in particular was Gosper County, I believe. Their sheriff, they had for $110,000 a year. He has currently one deputy and no jail. So, I mean, some of these wages are, I mean, I guess my feeling is NACO, we talk every year, we're worried about getting rid of the inheritance tax. We're worried about where we're going to sit each year on how much percentage we can take. And then they come out with the wage study, and I don't know that our budget can support huge, I don't know. And that's just my side of it.
The NACO questionnaire did ask very detailed questions about current benefits.
Okay, it did.
So they took that
Okay.
into account.
I don't have a lot to say, but looking at LB 34. LB 34 said that they're going to base what we're allowed to increase our tax request by slice, which is basically almost the same as the cost of living. It's a little different because it's kind of tied to government spending. So we either get that or we get zero. Now the budget we just passed, we did allow ourselves some unused authority that we could use over to the next year, just in case it is zero. So I'm wondering if we raise these wages to what NACO wants them to be, which NACO is accounting for the statewide. We're dealing with Red Roll and what we have to deal with as far as our budget and what LB 34 is going to allow us to do. We've already passed a budget with a 2.5% increase. Are we going to have to open up the entire budget again?
It won't be till next year. It won't be till the
Well,
next
okay.
budget.
These wages will be for next term.
That's true too. But what if the state comes back and tells us we can't increase over, but only 0%? In other words, exactly what we asked for this year. What if we can only ask for that same amount again? That's my concern.
Well, some of us will have leftover budget. I did not hire a part-time, and I don't plan to hire a part-time. I know Lori has been back and forth with employees. She hasn't had a deputy, so she'll have some carryover. I mean, the budget within our offices are not going to reach 100%. But, so that will help in budget time come next year. That money will be like carryover, but it will still be considered in the full budget amount with allowing the increase on top of that.
I understand, Kristen. You also,
Crystal.
well, right now, your reserves right now for the general fund are very low, very low. I don't think there's going to be much carryover
For the general fund.
for the general fund, which is includes you. And
Right.
And Laura.
But counties like Dundee County, their valuation is quite a bit smaller than us, and they were able to go 9%, which will be making more than us officials at the start of the 27 if we stay where we're at with the 2.5%.
I agree.
Well, the question I have is that did these other boards, I've got to assume that these other board of commissioners that are voting to do this, are we just taking NACO's advice on face value and just, I guess I'm looking at the specific, obviously we only control Red Willow, but that regard, but.
I know Hays County is a small county, but they're only at 2%. I mean, some counties are going to full what our NACO suggests, some counties are going like
East County with more than 2%.
Hays.
Hayes, yeah.
think so.
Because this is asking for a 19.8 plus a 1%, and then 27.5. I just don't, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm surprised with the way our budget has gone in this past year, that these other counties are voting to give these large of increases.
Not all counties are doing that.
Hayes County is getting 6%.
6% like over 4 years.
No, 6% now at the start of the 27
And
term.
then 2% after that.
And then it was,
And then 2% after that.
maybe it was 2%, but
I
it's not
think it
2%
is.
to start.
I sit with those commissioners every month in North Platte, and they don't talk about this stuff.
So that'd be 12% over the 4 years. And we were at 10 over the 4 years. Do you have those other, were you looking at some of those other sheets from those other counties?
Yeah, but I don't know, I don't put much faith in them because we don't know what's gonna happen here.
No, but, no.
The other thing is that, yes, it could increase the mill levy at the end of, or at the budget time, but it won't affect the tax dollars asked from each individual as much as you might think. And that came from Willow.
We've been able to, we have never, since the pink card system came out, the county has never sent out pink cards. And I like that.
Mhm.
Unlike some of the other entities around us.
Mhm.
So I really like that. And also, as we've taken a 2 to 3% increase every year, we've also lowered the mill levy every year because it was able to absorb that in our growth.
Right.
And our increased valuations. So to me, it's worked pretty good. It's been pretty hard to hold that line too.
Right, and we are all taxpayers also, and so I feel like as the official, we should have a fair chance in what we get too. We pay the tax, we pay all of our salaries also.
It's just hard to see the different counties who are smaller than us getting paid, way more.
I understand.
Yeah.
that, but
My job isn't easy to set all the values. It's something I can't just do like that. I've spent a lot of hours studying everything,
We are
be in
all
compliance
here.
with the state.
Before work, after work, we work hard, and you're looking at 100 years of experience, each four of us. We understand also how counties work.
And I do work from home on the weekends. I did those motor vehicle exemptions so we could make sure they were out to get them in a timely manner. And it's not just that. And like in discussion, Lori has said, we're personally invested with the county, the public, the people that come in and we deal with on a daily basis. We've been here long enough that we are personally invested with those people.
So are we. So are we.
And we know that, we
Yeah.
want to promote careers, not just jobs. For us, these are careers. And, we like to give our employees more than 2.5%, but we're only getting 2.5%. So we feel like as with you guys, there's a lot of new stuff thrown at you every single year, and you have to, sometimes your brain wonders if it can keep up with all the new stuff. And it's our responsibility as the, department head to be responsible for that. We just feel like we like a fair shake at the next 4 years.
The only thing that I see too, and maybe I live under a rock, but a 20 to 28% over the next 4 years is substantial. I mean, that is, and here again, that's why I preface maybe I live under a rock. I don't know of very many jobs, if any, I mean, that I'm aware of that'll pay out that large of a raise over a 4-year period.
Well, I think you'll see that I did not highlight the 28% amount.
Yeah, we're not even discussing that.
This one,
The one on the right-hand side, the higher
so the
one.
20% over the 4 years, right? That's what you're looking at? 18 or 19.8 plus 1%.
That NACO study says that they talked about 12, and then they said that that's pretty high, so they said maybe 8. That's 24%. Now, cover letter on the NACO letter. You have it for the-
Which I don't.
you don't read that.
It's over in,
I'll look it over there.
The other thing too,
I don't know if you guys got
It's 32, actually.
text messages or not after the last meeting that catching hell for not freezing it.
for freezing the officials' salaries.
Actually, counties have done that.
Oh, I'm
mean-
sure that they have.
Yeah, but you're not reporting those.
And, well, I don't know the ones that have done it now. I know Foxview at the beginning of the last term, they didn't hardly do anything for a raise, but they're starting at 69 now, which is quite a jump from where they were. Almost $9,200 to be exact, to start their 27 term.
I guess I don't, when you put pencil to paper, I don't know how these counties are gonna do this budgetarily.
I mean,
I don't really truly know. I don't. Because every year we're squeezed down, we choose not to go over the amount to go do the pink postcards, and yet we're still,
look at the increases New Cook took.
Well,
And what they had to do.
and just a couple of the city jobs that I would throw out is the library director, they're at 76. And the senior service director is at 72, just about.
Sister, they asked for an 18% tax
Oh, I
increase
know.
last year too.
Lucky for
We're
them.
not
yeah.
gonna do that.
Well, I understand that. That's not what we want either. I mean, we have to listen to it too, the complaining of the, people
We do
talking.
too.
Oh, I'm just saying that you aren't the only one that hears about it.
But we're the ones making the final decision too. I mean,
We have a couple officials that are gonna be not even finishing out the term, and then and people aren't coming and knocking on our door for these jobs anymore, and they used to be. I was lucky enough in 2012 that one of the girls in the treasurer's office was moving to take care of a family member.
Yeah.
That's how I was
Yeah.
lucky enough to get this job. That's why I'm privileged to where I'm at now.
Yeah, we have trouble, people don't apply like they used to. We have trouble filling positions. In fact, I stole my last one from the assessor.
Yeah, I know.
I think that part's true everywhere though anymore. Nobody wants to work.
I mean, I hear that all the time too from people that they just can't find workers. So what are you guys proposing?
What if we compromise? Split the beginning in half.
Thinking what number, 12 or 8?
Well, I was looking at numbers, not percentage. They're recommending 73,380, and you guys stuck with 67.
Give me the numbers for the first for 2027. You're giving me the numbers for the 4 years from now.
No, this number that they are recommending is the start of the term.
It's 70,650.
73,380.
Where's that other sheet? It's a cover letter from NACO.
I don't know what cover letter you're referring to.
We did have it.
With the resolution that was passed, we would be starting at 67,050. I don't know what cover sheet you're.
67.
The papers that Charles was looking
Yeah,
at a minute
for
ago.
27 with
These
our.
are the other counties. These are,
No,
oh,
Here
here.
the NACO letter.
If you're talking about this is not a NICO letter.
Let me see.
That's what we wrote up.
I typed up.
That's the one I'm talking about. Can I see
That's
that?
our guide
All right. Well, are you gonna
and
present that?
our compromise.
All right, okay.
You guys put us at 67. We're thinking 70,650.
That's the start of the 27.
So
That would be
what-
halfway,
What would be your percentage increase over the 4 years?
3.5, which is what you said, looking at looking at Social Security, right? That's what Social Security is.
So you're
It's-
looking at 3.5% compounded annually for 4 years. That's what you're looking at?
So that'd be a
That's what you're
14% over.
over the next 4 years,
That's what you're recommending on that sheet over there?
to start at 70,650 with a 3.5% annually after that.
Oh, you wanna balloon it right now and then take off 3.5 after that?
Right.
Kinda like what,
It would go 8% to get
like a,
close to what the recommendation were,
So 8% your first year.
approximately 8%.
So 8% the first year, and then 3.5 the succeeding 3 years.
Which would get us approximately to where the end of NACO's based
So
on
that'd be
NACO's
18.5%.
NACO's recommendation would be.
compounded though, that's a hell of a lot more than 18%.
What do you mean compounded?
Well, you're taking 8% this year, and next year you're gonna take 3% plus of the 8% plus what they were before. It keeps.
You're right.
3%.
You're right. On the, yeah.
Yeah,
And Dundee County's doing 9 with 3% after it.
But see, this is where it becomes, so we end up with then, so if we'd authorize this for the elected officials, then next year, next budget season, we're gonna have that, and then we're gonna have all the employees wanting,
Nothing raised.
that's more substantial than the 2.5%, 3% that we've been giving. And then that's again,
Lori, what was it that you said about the employees' raises? Like, because we're set every 4 years, there was 1 year that, what were you saying about the employees and their raises? That like they've gotten more of an increase over the last 4 years than we have, right? Is that what you said?
now what do you mean they got more than you did?
increase percentage.
So the average increase percentage-wise, they,
Because ours is set for 4 years.
Right.
Theirs is annual. They don't always get 2.5, and that's what we always get. I mean, for this last term.
Well, that's what we budget for each office to determine how they want to spread that amount around between their employees. So if you have one employee that gets 10% and the other one that gets none, then I mean, I can see where that would become. But, I mean,
I'm willing to give a little, but not that much. Not that much. I don't like the balloon. The front balloon, I don't like that.
I'm astonished that, and I don't keep a finger on the pulse of all these other counties across the state as far as what they're doing. I just look at our numbers and I know what we get stuck with every year of trying to decide, well, we need to make some cuts, we need to do this, we need to stay below that. Because obviously, I know, there's a whole county of taxpayers that grumble about their taxes. I mean, everybody's subject to it. I mean, my mortgage payment is doubled.
But they grumble if they come knocked on the door to renew their car too, and nobody was there to do it for them.
You're right, but, and that's, the thing is that we're all elected officials, and so if we get to a point where we don't like what it pays, then we don't file. And I know that's, you know, I mean, there's a lot of times I look at my paycheck each month and know what I went through over the course of that month and think, man, is this $2,300 worth it because of all the headache and stress that I go through and deal with? But guess what? I just filed again, knowing that I was probably only going to get a 2.5% raise over the next 4 years, which 2.5% to me is not a whole lot because the job, you know, so it's more of a service than it is about getting rich, and I live in that realm every day of my life.
Right, and same.
So, I mean, I guess that's where I come down on it. And I don't know how NACO can come out with a study saying that 20 to 28% over the next 4 years. I don't know that NACO is even keeping a pulse on what the rest of the world is doing in that regard, because I don't know of any job that's giving those kind of raises in corporate America. Maybe in the highest, elitist, that we don't, maybe the CEO of the company or whatever, but I'm talking the blue collar people that make up Red Willow County. I'm pretty sure that a lot of these people are not giving themselves a 20-some% raise each over the next 4 years. So, I mean, for me to make that motion or for me to agree to that would be.
I don't think you can compare your situation with ours. You don't have to make a living wage out of this job.
No, you're right.
Another job.
I do have another
We don't
job.
have time
But
for another job. We are here all hours.
There's a lot of people that work more than one job. I'm supposed to be a trooper right now, but I've chosen to be here, and I've gotten authorization to be here. And so my point is that I stretch myself super thin too, doing what I do. I'll be working till 9 o'clock tonight. You know, I mean, I guess my thing is that I seriously do have a heart for you guys, and I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be disrespectful or mean. I appreciate all of you and what you do for this county. It's just that I don't know how we're going to balance the budget because I know as sure as I'm sitting here that if we give these big raises, then next budget season, well, my workers need this and my workers need that and my workers need this, and then we're going to prorate everybody's raises off of what we did, because how am I supposed to tell an employee, hey, I got an 8% raise last year and then 3.5% proceeding after that, and then tell them, well, I'm only going to give you a 1% or a 2%. But moreover, there's also a cost of living increase, but there are some people that don't get any raises. There are some companies that don't give out any raises to their employees, especially in these economic times that we're in. I feel like the county job is a pretty good job. I feel like, I mean, I know on paper, you're elected, so you guys can, you know, you're not on necessarily a time card, so you're a salary-based employee. So, you know, the minimum or maximum, is 35 hours a week. You get your hour lunch. We operate from 8 to 4, so the courthouse is closed at 4 o'clock. We do, like all state and federal agencies, do holidays. If there's snow days, we get those days off. I'm pretty generous, and I don't want anybody getting hurt out there or traveling to their job and get into a car accident or slip and fall or get hurt. So if we have much of any kind of snowfall, we call the day off. I mean, the benefits are good in regards to our insurance and the premiums that we pay. I don't know.
I think nobody wants to, I'm going to speak for myself. I don't want to put myself up on a pedestal. And I've been at this job a long time, and I take pride in that. Just wanted a fair shake. Just wanted for the next term, just a fair consideration, I should say. Not, you know, just a reconsideration.
Okay.
Randy, if you're willing to give, how much?
I don't like the balloon, the 8% upfront. I don't like that. I really don't, because I don't know how that affects us next year. But I would be willing to go from 2.5 to 3.5 times the 4 years. Which when I first got here this morning, I wasn't going to budge. But I'm leaning this way. Like 3.5.
So if we took the 18% and divided it out over the 4 years, no, without it'd be like a 4.5% balloon now, and then 4.5 over the next 3 after that. Then we'd still end up at the end of the term where our,
But I wouldn't If you're just going, if you're recommending 4.5, that's not a balloon up front, that's just the first year.
Right, yeah, so there
It's
wouldn't
not a
be,
balloon.
it would be 4.5 over the next 4 years
So
would equal
we're
out
getting-
the
We're getting
18%.
closer.
So the 4.5 would be, still be at your 18. So it's tomato, tomato. You either balloon it 1 year or you just spread it out over 4.
Yeah, but he's saying 14.
I'm saying 14.
14 at 3.5.
That's 3.5. For 4 years.
Well, I'm just telling you guys, prepare to end up offering that to every employee across the county next year. Because that's what's gonna happen.
Well,
3.5, 2.5.
But they work for us.
They work for us, so you can set the budget at 2.5, and we are the ones that get to hear from it from the employees.
I know, and we wrangled with that last budget season too.
Right.
So, I don't think it's gonna pencil. I mean, look at our current state of affairs.
I mean, 3.5% over 2.5% isn't that big a hit on the budget. When you're talking about just electric.
So we were at 10%, and now you're 14 over the
Keep
4.
throwing that out there, I wanna work it by a 1 year time, because that's.
Well, you're not, you're locking in it for 4. You're not locking it in for
Because our
1 year.
budget is based on year to year,
You're right. You're
and
right.
that's what I'm working with. When I'm doing budget, when I'm looking at LB 34, and I'm looking at slice, I'm looking at pink cards, and the hell we raise if we do have to send out pink cards. I get enough phone calls.
Charles, where do you sit on it?
Well, I wonder, I don't know, but when you get text messages from that was the meeting we had the other day, and this was from ex-commissioners, more or less saying, what the hell are you guys doing? You need to freeze it.
Well, I guess my question is,
I thought he just meant yours.
You can freeze mine, I don't care. I don't have a problem with it.
well, that was just an axe to grind.
Yeah.
So,
We have to decide this before the 15th, if I remember right. Kristen, am I correct?
the 15th of this month,
Yep.
in 3 days.
That's why today is the last day that we can do it, because you can't take.
But it was the only other time that you guys met to be able to discuss it. Before.
Has to be done today. They told us that the budget would be to Nickel.
And you can talk about the courthouse opening at 8, an hour lunch and closing at 4. And we are here long before, and long after, and weekends. You're not the only ones who get texts on weekends. I'm getting married this afternoon. We just realized we need a license, you know. We all get those. All of our numbers are published.
I would, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna make a suggestion. I'm just gonna make a suggestion, like I said before. I would change it from 2.5 to 3.5 times 4. That's, I mean, that's, like I said, that's more than I was going to do before. Because I think we could pencil, I think the budget will hold that,
So that'd be 14% over 4 years.
you know.
But it's only at 3.5 per year.
No balloon up front. And again, what Nico says,
Well, and I wouldn't, I was gonna suggest that too, is it's not NACO themselves, it's a it's a committee of 13 people that put all of this together.
I know, but Nico, Candace is the one that implemented the idea. And,
Let me ask you this, and I know that times change. What has the Board of Commissioners ever voted in the history of this county to give those kind of raises?
we've given, actually, we've done more than that before.
You've done more than,
Well, I remember that time when we used to do flat amounts too. You know, just $200.
This is only my second term, so I don't know, but We'll also would point out that one department got like a 17% raise one budget year.
Yep, I heard that. We talked
I know.
extensively about that too.
Yes. So I just don't think that what we are asking would amounts to that.
I'm not comfortable with NACO's recommendation, not even close, personally.
And that's just why we've asked for,
Because what I hear all the time too is this ain't right. You guys set your own raises and you set your own wages and you set your own, and then you give yourself a 20% raise or over the net.
but we're fighting for it.
I know you
Not
are.
you.
I know you are.
Us. So
Yeah.
at the end of the
And
day,
then
it
at the
would
end,
be us
well, and I,
asking for it, and you just have to follow it if that is what's approved. I mean, the sheriff is under a lot, definitely, because he does run a jail and he has several deputies. And NACO recommends 125% currently, and he's not at 125% of our salary.
He's also the emergency manager too, he's getting a check for that too.
But that's different. I'm saying the sheriff. I mean, Lori could be the emergency manager.
Yeah, well, at least she's not though.
Right, he is, but
Yeah.
he is the sheriff, he has a jail, he oversees deputies, and on the others, and then on the side, he's the emergency manager. So you
It's
can't
additional
even,
duties.
you can't put that together.
He's not getting
NACO's
paid for
recommending
nothing.
now that the sheriff be at 140% of the base salary if they have a jail, if they run a jail. And like I said, even currently at 125%, he's not even at 125% of our salary. He's like 7,000 to 9,000 less than where they recommend him to be.
Yeah, and we gave them all a raise here a couple of years ago. and you
Not
referenced-
them,
you
just-
referenced-
You gave
referenced
the
that quite a lot.
deputies, you gave the deputies a raise, you
We
didn't do
give the
anything for the
jailers
sheriff.
raises too.
But you didn't do
And
anything
we
for the
cut hell over
sheriff.
that, too.
I'm talking specifically the sheriff. He is under.
He doesn't have to run for reelection.
You have a responsibility to not only the taxpayers, but to us, because ultimately, we are your main contact with the taxpayers. As long as we do our jobs correctly,
No, I
and they're
agree with that,
not
Penny.
easy jobs.
I can agree with that, Penny, but also damn near every taxpayer in the county's got my cell phone number too.
They know
And
where
I
to find
take
me
a hell of a
too.
lot of phone calls, and all these guys do too.
So do I. They know my number
Well-
too.
And I'm not speaking on behalf of the sheriff at all, because he has not mentioned anything. But your comment that you just said that, well, he doesn't have to run again. None of us do, but nobody can just walk in here and do the job either.
You know, I understand that too. We were fortunate that you were there and ready to step in, I agree. We were very fortunate you were there.
And Lori had to step in too with
And Lori too.
not a full
And Lori
staff,
too.
and, I mean, we all have stepped in, but we see both sides of it, we do. But again, all of us at this table that are county officials are also paying taxes. And we see it from both sides as well. I listen to my husband every day, well, why the hell do I have to pay this in taxes? Well, thank you. That's all, you know. He gets people at work complaining to him about the fact that that me and another county worked together and a customer had to come here to pay sales tax. Like, don't bitch to me, he says, because I have to pay the same stuff. We all pay the same thing that they do. The only difference is we sit in the job.
So we already have a resolution that's been approved at 2.5%.
And it can be amended per Elaine and, what's her name? Beth. Randy was standing right there when she said it.
Something like that.
Because Randy said at NACO, he said, I knew nothing about the salary study.
I didn't.
And then he learned about it at NACO.
They had two breakout session for that issue because
Yes.
the first one was so full, we couldn't even get in the room. So they scheduled another one. Evidently, there was a lot of people that didn't know about it.
And that was because apparently it was only emailed to the clerks and the chairs.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I got it was because I had asked for it from NACO because they weren't releasing it until after the legislative session.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
We got decided today.
I know we do.
And I've said kind of where I stand, so. when
Year 3.5.
I'm willing to go that far. And I know what y'all say, I understand it completely, but I get tired of getting my ass chewed because of that.
Mike, I think that article in the paper was very helpful. I wish more people read the paper about what portion of taxes go to which subdivision.
Yeah, that was a pretty good article.
Charles, where are you at? 2.5, 3.5,
5,
8 plus 22 plus, what are you thinking?
Hard decision. I don't know, I guess my thought in life, I don't worry about money as long as I can pay my bills.
I have 3 kids at home though. I
Well,
do every
I
day.
understand that, but
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the biggest thing is not to think about what you guys are making. Because you guys may not be here in 27, 28, 29, 30. So the biggest thing is when you guys are looking at this, it may not be your salary that you're looking at bumping up or decreasing. It may be somebody else that's coming in, like Crystal said, a family with 3 kids, or, I know Ted has a lot of kids and that kind of stuff, that's trying to take a family and moving in here. If you can make more money in Dundee County, I don't know a whole lot about Dundee County, but if you can go to Dundee County and make a whole lot more, and you don't have to deal with a police department or anything like that, you're just the sheriff and you can, then why wouldn't you move to Dundee County over moving to Red Willow County?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things, you're looking at an elected official, and I get that you guys keep saying, they're gonna come to you and ask for a raise for their employees. Well, that's up to the department head after you tell them how much they can get. One employee may be really good and may get a 5% raise, and one may get a 3% raise, and you may not give the other out.
Yeah, but all we're talking about, when you talk about elections, that's the reason we have to set elected officials 4 years ahead of time, so that doesn't influence who's running, who's not running.
Correct.
And we're only talking about elected officials here, we're not talking about the rest of the staff, that's up to these elected officials.
And that's what
I
he just
understand
said.
that, but you guys keep bringing up the jail employees and these employees here, and the employees next year will want 3.5%. You're only talking about elected officials.
It's all part of the budget next year.
It is, but this is for the elected officials.
Right. But the trend
The trend
has
I
been
understand I
that
understand
whatever the elected officials get, then the
Correct.
employees get as well. And so if we raise the ceiling, then it raises that ceiling again. And then what that all comes down to in the end is when we're sitting in here in July going through budget, then we're sitting here crunching numbers. Dan Miller will end up being crunching the numbers, and we'll be told, this is what you're going to have to. This is your shortfall, or this is and we're at such a time that I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea because it's all next governor,
Yeah.
right? But if they keep after us, for example, like if you are short-sighted and don't look down the road, like if they were to get rid of our inheritance funds. Now, granted, we have like $4.6 million in inheritance funds right now, but the point is that
But you don't
if
want to use that and exhaust it on.
right, if they were to do away with it, that's all we're worth. That's really, I mean, that's not true, but that's what we have kind of in our piggy bank.
Yeah.
And if we start dipping into that to pay the everyday needs and not wants, right, then we can really,
But I also think you have to look and be competitive with places like Dundee County that doesn't have the population that's here as well.
no, you're right.
So if you're looking at Dundee County and they're making, just throwing out numbers, I don't have the paper, but, you know, the sheriff's making 60,000, but the sheriff in Red Willow County is making 61,000. Well, that's not really comparable. How would you,
No, I get that.
you know, and you have more square miles and that kind of stuff, so.
And the question I have though is that these people that made these decisions, these commissioners, did they do it under duress, or did they end up making a real rational decision of, is our budget gonna float this? Right? Because that's a $100,000 question. Gosper County's paying their sheriff $110,000, one deputy, no jail. Do you think, I mean, at the end of the day, when, you know, I mean, if we're comparing apples to oranges, and we're not, but I mean, you can only know what you know. And we have, I'm going back to my agency, we start troopers out at $60,000, $70,000 a year, right? Working nights, weekends, holidays, get shot at, ran over, screamed at, spit at, kicked, you know the drill. Mm-hmm. So my point is that you have a sheriff that's been maybe on the street for 3 years and he files to be a sheriff and he gets elected, right? At $110,000 a year in a county with one deputy and no jail. Like, that's great, good for him. I mean, you just got yourself competition for the next election, which is great, that's great. I'm good with that. But my point is just that we can't let this budget, and we can't, that's the overall. It's the decisions we make today and in these meetings will roll over to July when it's time for us to sit down and look at everybody's sheets and try to make decisions and see where we sit monetarily. And it's one of those deals that it's not easy, and unfortunately, the problem that we see, so everybody has kind of their lane in county government, right? So we as commissioners are the ones that truly are, we set the budgets, that's our job, right? And so guess what? When people see that this percentage came out, or their taxes raised, people don't understand the breakdown. Mike tried to illustrate that in his article, but a lot of people just don't think that way. They think Red Willow County, right? So as far as the constituents and the people, the taxpayers and all the people that live in Red Willow County, the people that share that brunt of you did this to us is the commissioners. They do.
Very much so.
You know. So that's
You
where
haven't
it's,
spent much time in Crystal's office, though.
well, that's motor vehicle tax and that's license plates and registering, because everybody goes out and takes a loan for a brand new car, and then when it's time to go pay the sales tax and go plate it, then that's a
Or in
daunting tax.
Lori's office, then.
Because I see a lot of in-transits that run around for 5 or 6 months because we can't afford to come in and pay the sales tax and we can't afford to pay for the plates. But that's different, that's still a tax, but that's different from property and, yeah, so. And you look at our agricultural sector with $4 corn and the inputs that are going into this. I mean, we have a lot of farmers. I mean, agriculture is the backbone of this state. We don't have tourism. We don't have coal. We don't have much oil. We don't have anything. So agriculture is the backbone. Right now, there's a lot of farmers that are suffering because things aren't penciling for them. And so then our decisions up here, and the city, we will try to work together, but they set their own budget, they do their own thing. That's not something we're in control of. I just don't know where to go with this, because I'm just afraid that if we just keep raising these wages higher and higher and higher, that I think we're gonna get to a point where we're like, man, now what are we gonna do? And that's what I'm afraid of, especially if it goes down to 0%. Because now if it's based off of inflationary rates, and we have a president that's trying to, if inflation gets cut down, that's what we're going to be faced with. And there's always people that come about with epic tax, and there's all these ideals about different ways of, I don't know, it's uncertain times. And I guess I would rather keep our employees at a consistent level, or at least consistency, than say, well, you know what, we voted to do this, and now we're in a budget shortfall, so everybody takes a 5% wage decrease.
So I can't say anything about the other offices, and I don't have the dollar amounts in front of me right now, but I know that our deputies like our official deputies, whatever, they, comparing to the city, we are doing pretty good with their salaries, their wages. I mean, like an administrative assistant, I don't know how long she's been there, but $27.35. I feel like the employees after the last couple years, except for Lori's office, because they haven't raised theirs. Because, well, anyway, but within everything, I think that for the most part, we're pretty fair with the employees and their wages where we sit. They would be in comparison to where the city assistants are right now, anywhere from $23.92 to $27.35. I think I have one in my office, maybe two that are under that, but I don't know how long.
But on your
people have been there
proposal,
either.
I looked through that just generally, and you said that, on there, it said that our base salary is so below you can make a McDonald's that we're gonna have to discuss this next budget season. So, I mean, that's contradictory.
Well, that, and I talked with Penny a little bit about that too. I don't know what the other offices start at, so I can't speak for them. I don't think I've ever started anybody at that minimum wage being $15 an hour now, but.
I mean, I mean, honestly, maybe I'm just out of touch with reality, but I'm personally good at the 2.5% resolution that we set before, but I'm not.
Just take that as a rough idea of total elected officials, total.
Yeah.
All of them together.
Yeah.
It's probably not that high, but just say for those. Add an additional 1% of that's $1,000 a year. You know,
At 1%.
if you add another 1%, it's not that big a deal. It would be more than that from the other.
Charles, I'm at 2.5, Randy's at 3.5.
What I'm saying is, if that was a total, all the officials, that's only 1% more. Right. Total annual increase. And it doesn't matter to me, but I'm willing to do that. It'll be 34 scares the hell.
Well, that's what, looking down the road is what's
Where they set it for 4 years.
the big, well, we don't know what's gonna happen in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
And we don't want to hurt the taxpayers either, but again, like Dan said, it may increase the mill levy, but it's not going to affect the tax ask a whole lot, enough to notice the change in their dollar amount.
You know, I think you're.
And we've been going down in the mill levy for quite a while. The valuations, yes, still go up, but our mill levy
I've been on the board.
stays
We've
down.
voted every year.
Because our assessed values continue to go up,
Right.
which allows you to, well, it's fool's gold. Well, we lowered the mill levy, yeah, but you still had more in assessed values to pull from, so,
Some people didn't do that.
well, you're right.
Some people took the mill levy
So,
increase and they said that's
What
what.
do you make per hour? Do you ever figure that out?
Are we talking hours the courthouse is open or hours we actually work?
That was where I was
Well,
it's kind of
I'm
hard to do
asking.
that.
You give me the answer.
So if you based it on 35 hours a week,
That's 1,820 hours in a year. Divide that by your salary. That would tell you.
and if we go for the what will start 2026, it's 35.
So right now, you guys make $35 an hour? Is that what you're telling me?
Roughly.
Crystal, is that the budget at 25 or is that the budget at 26?
That's what we're
That's
supposed to
correct.
start 26 at.
So that's not what you make currently.
No.
I think that's what he was asking.
Yeah, and I don't know what the number is currently, because I just have the number of the salary we're starting 26 at, which is what we're basing all of the other figures off of.
When you say starting 26, that would be with the previous Board of Commissioners agreement at 2.5, right?
Yes. And currently, because we haven't started our January salaries technically yet, or our 2026, oh, it changed a few cents. So right now, we're about 90 cents less than what we would be.
Are you looking at this last payroll?
And I'm not saying that we make bad money. I would never say that that is bad money, but I feel like we could, for what we do, I feel like we could make more. We're worth more.
I agree.
Well, I agree too. I think everybody's worth more money.
Not everybody.
In their own eyes, they do.
Well, in their own minds, yeah.
So here's a question.
Yep.
Kevin's 2.5. Dean's at 3.5. Well, if you just split it down the middle, 3. It's a compromise. I know that didn't help as much, but I'm trying to.
Oh,
got
I
3 days.
appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, but
I just.
they,
Yeah, but they're at how much, 4.5
4.
to 2, so then Dean's would be the middle ground.
but, right.
Thank you, Anna.
$35 an hour
Not
is
great
pretty
enough.
good wage for the cook.
At 35 hours a week, yes.
Yeah.
But we can go back to another department's comment where she said that, well, I could average way more than that. Not that I want to be in her shoes, but I'm just saying. Depends on the time of day, or the year. Time of year for us, I do a lot more at certain times of the year. And I'm grateful too, because this job allows me the flexibility to be home with my kids when I need to be home with my kids. But we're also raising kids at the same time, so. I'm just saying, I'm grateful for the job. And like Ted said, we can either file or Randy, we can either file or we don't. I mean, but what we're asking is for you guys to see where we're at too, where we stand. And understanding too that we know what you guys deal with as a board as well.
Well, let's make a decision of some sort here.
Well, to do 3, it'd be 12% over the 4 years, and
I'm gonna make a motion, okay? You guys can second or not, but I'm gonna put it out there so we get this conversation going. I'm gonna make a motion that we increase executive salaries over the next 4 years by 3.5% per year, and of course that's compounded, so I don't know what that comes out to, but 3.5% per year on all elected officials. That's a motion.
It either dies for a lack of a second or it gets seconded.
That's right.
well,
I don't
we
know.
gotta move forward, but
Are you happy with 3.5?
well, I don't know that I'm happy with 3.5, but they're not happy with 3.5.
No, no.
We're not gonna get the 12% that NACO recommends. We know that already. And none of you are agreeing with the 8%, which is still quite a jump, 8%. So obviously, I mean, anything more than 2.5, we're either gonna take it or leave it at this point. 3.5 would be great.
But,
Well, yeah,
But that's
that's,
an option.
right, that is an option, but where can you go to?
I don't know.
Walk out
I'm not
the-
job searching. I don't want to job search. I'm just saying, this is where we're at. I don't know. I'm not saying I wanna leave this job.
Would you be more comfortable at 3?
I think you're really cutting hairs close, but, I mean,
So either stick at the 2.5 or go with the 3.5.
I'm more worried what's gonna happen in the future, down to,
And Randy, you did the math for the extra 1%?
yes, but I'm looking at the economy. I mean, things are terrible out there.
They are, but the taxes are always gonna be there. They're not going away.
Yeah,
I didn't know the exact figure of what all of all the elected officials' salaries together. I just guessed it.
Oh, yeah.
500,000. 1% more than what we already approved. I mean, that's probably more than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, it probably is, but I just wanted a round number. That's $5,000 maybe over the.
And like I said, with the budget, I mean, I think if I figured correctly, I'm gonna have at least 20, not hiring a part-time person. So there's 20,000 to do whatever we need to do with for the following year. Cause, I mean, I know, it's just that a budget. It's not saying that the money's there. But that bottom dollar is what we get to work with next year.
So who did,
We got a motion on it. We were seconded or no, that.
Well, I don't think 0.5% is gonna make or break, but it's,
2.5, 3, it don't break us either.
the only thing I worry about the economy. It's terrible.
well, and the other question is, you gotta ask yourself is, where does it stop? Does it ever stop or does it not stop? Do you ever get to a ceiling where you're like, okay, this is,
Like where you just wouldn't give a raise anymore? Is that,
Yeah,
that's what I don't
yeah.
understand your ceiling. Like you make 40,000 and that's it.
so
No
most,
increases, no nothing.
most jobs have a starting wage and an ending wage, and then when you get to the top tier of your pay scale, it's done
But you
deal.
still get a raise, you still get a cost of living increase.
You
things
can
like
get
that,
COLA,
right?
you can,
Yes.
you can,
They don't just cut you off at 40 and say you're done.
you can, but it's also, it can go the other direction too.
Well, a lot of those jobs also have promotion possibilities. You could be an administrative assistant 3 and cut off at 40, and then you can work to be an administrative assistant 2 and cut off at 50.
You can promote if you choose to.
We don't get promotions.
Well, and I know, and it's free market, like I said before, I mean, people go to jobs, leave jobs, start new jobs, do those jobs, however you can do whatever you'd like. I don't know. The other thing that I note, and this is just because my mind is thinking about the budget, because this all directly affects the budget. And so the other thing that I think about too, and I mentioned earlier, is that, again, my health insurance, vision, and dental have increased on me every single year. Every single year those premiums have gone up. So they give you 3% wage increase and they take it back with your health insurance premiums, and we don't do that here. We've kept our contributions we pay dental, and then vision is an add-on, and health. But we've had extremely low rates, and we have good health insurance benefits, and we've never changed the premium,
Why
ever.
don't you take the county's insurance, and then that'll be a moot point.
Why, I would just stay where I'm at. Because I'm not, like Arnie said, it's a rolling, I'm not gonna switch insurance and then not be here in 4 years. I just stay with where I'm at and have been for 20 years. I pay roughly $700 a month for my health, vision, and dental at the state. And my point is that that's what people also don't, I know that they say that NACO did studies on all this, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess that's never been provided to me. But we have a motion on the table for 3.5% wage increase, 3.5% each year for the next 4 years.
If he's doing the math right, it's $5,000 a year.
You think
Wow.
all of our elected officials are only $500,000?
I bet you they're pretty close. Might be dead on.
Hope I can tell you.
Yeah, give me a minute, it's so cold in here, my hands are shaking.
And I know contrary to Mr. Barney's comment, we will be faced with this budget time again. So you can take that $5,000 and compound that by, because it's gonna come around. And you're gonna have the same fight and the same tough decision to make.
Well,
Then-
when you get to that point, you're gonna have to either freeze or else gonna start cutting services. LB 34 says this is what you're gonna do.
Well, I've already had people calling me in the community telling me to cut services
I know, me too.
because
Is that
the
the treasurer's
checks.
office?
Who's
No,
gonna
it's
get
not.
cut?
Well, no,
It's
it's,
just the assessor because they're
Yeah.
doing the property tax.
people want, they want property tax reform. They want,
Actually, I want the paper that. What it is now.
Okay.
you can tell you threw that motion out there, but it ain't getting gobbled up real fast.
I know, but you gotta go somewhere. You can't talk all day.
Oh, I know.
You too much longer, I'll miss breakfast in the morning.
Because there is gonna be a run for raising wages. It's coming.
Well, just so you know, my employees were stunned when they saw the emails of what other assessors were making. They were really like, and you're making what?
I know.
And they're not thinking about themselves. Yeah, they were like crazy, but they were concerned for me,
With
you know.
What?
They know
the
how
four
much.
fifty-five with 3, 4, 5, 6,
I
7,
understand.
8,
You know.
9.
I'm just saying, my
Nine elected.
employees were,
That's enough.
you know,
I don't even, yeah,
actually thinking about me.
right. I get it. So, it's gonna be,
That's actually 4,450.
that's just above, that's just moving from 2.5 to 3.5 difference. So, I'm starting to get that source.
So it's gonna be damn near full time.
So 47.
Yeah, oh, absolutely it will be, because that's just the difference between 2.5 to 3.5. That's
per
not,
year, that's per year.
So sorry, to end 25, it was 487. To end
Okay, so I'll
2025.
just stick with my 500 then.
so does that motion die for a lack of a second then?
I don't know, one year wouldn't be, that give you some thought for the next 3 years, but
Maybe we can't do it that way.
You can't, it's gonna go all in the 4-year clump. So,
You have 2 people work for the city between the two of them, $250,000. 2 of them, 2 people.
yep. And that's not my purview.
Well, it's not mine either, and I'm not gonna try to compete with them, but that's the reason they keep raising their taxes so much too.
Yea or nay, motion, you got a motion, a second,
Change it.
or no?
Thank you, Charles.
I got a motion from Dean and a second from Fritchie to amend our original resolution for a 2.5 to increase that to a 3.5% increase on official salaries, elected officials over the next 4 years from 2027 to 2030. And just as, it's 3.5 per year. It's not ballooned.
Right.
For a total of what, 14% increase?
14.75.
And that starts in the 2027 is when it starts. Okay.
So we'll go ahead and vote if there's no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.